Some betting systems rely on aggression, others rely on progression. Masaniello is different. It is a system invented for trading that works remarkably well in casino games, following a structured table that determines every decision step by step, aiming for a defined profit within a fixed cycle. So today, we are bringing it back as a Baccarat strategy. On paper, it should work even better than in Roulette, since there is no zero. Now it's time to find out how it performs in a game with a lower house edge.
Welcome to Ninja Gamblers, where we break down the smartest strategies for roulette, blackjack, craps and baccarat. If you're into table games, join our free community. You'll get all the charts we use, exclusive content, discussions with fellow ninjas, and member-only bonuses. It's free, private, and takes 10 seconds to join. Link in the description and first comment.
In previous videos, we've explained the Masaniello system in both Roulette and Baccarat, where it delivered solid results. Since Baccarat has only two possible outcomes, player or banker, this Baccarat strategy can theoretically work even better here. If you haven't watched our previous Masaniello's videos, you can find a link in the top right corner. Masaniello works through a structured chart that tells you exactly what action to take depending on whether the player or the banker wins. Every step is predetermined, and you simply follow the next decision based on the result of each hand, creating a structured sequence of decisions throughout the cycle. The goal of the system is to win 20 times your base bet while following the structured sequence. You can download the chart using the link in the description and the pinned comment. To apply the Masaniello system to Baccarat, we adapted the chart. If the player wins, I move one cell to the right. If the banker wins, I move one cell down. Once I exit the chart, whether on the right side or at the bottom, it means the profit target has been achieved and the cycle is closed. If I reach the zero at the bottom, that represents the stop loss, meaning I will lose 100 times my base bet. And unfortunately, there is nothing you can do at that point. However, statistically, that outcome should only occur in 1 out of 21 possible scenarios. Nevertheless, this does not change the house edge. The system manages risk and bet sizing, but the possibility of losing always remains. Alright, it's time to put the system in action. For this run, I'll be playing in euros, but it works exactly the same with any other currency. I'm starting this session with 1,850 euros. Today I'll be using 10 euro units, which means the target profit is around 200 euros, while the stop loss is set at 1,000 euros. You can always adjust your unit size depending on your bankroll. I usually play with 5 euro units, but today we're being a bit more aggressive. The final profit won't be exactly 200 euros since the banker bet pays 0.95 to 1, and the system doesn't calculate that adjustment perfectly, but it should still land somewhere around the 20% target. If you don't remember the rules of Baccarat, here's a quick refresher. Two hands play against each other, the banker and the player. The winning hand is the one closest to 9. Each hand receives 2 starting cards, and in some cases a third card is drawn according to fixed rules. 10s and face cards are worth 0, while aces through 9 keep their face value. If the total exceeds 9, only the last digit counts. For example, a total of 15 becomes 5. If the result is a tie, it's a push, meaning neither side wins or loses. The banker bet has the best odds, but with Masaniello, that won't matter since you're following the pre-established structure of the chart, which you can download using the link in the description. The Masaniello chart starts from the top left corner, which is a 0. In Roulette, I usually make a dummy spin, but in Baccarat that isn't possible. So instead, whenever the chart indicates a 0 unit bet, I'll place 1 bet on player and 1 bet on banker to initiate the sequence and continue from there. So let's begin with that setup. 1 unit on banker and 1 unit on player. Since I'm betting on the 2 possible outcomes at the same time, the result of the hand will only determine the next action I must take. Banker wins. Now the next move is clear. I move 1 cell down. According to the chart, I must bet 1 unit on banker, which means 10 euros. Player wins, I lose. Since player won, I move 1 cell to the right, so 0 units. Once again, a simultaneous bet on banker and player. Banker wins again. That's another sell down, 1 unit on Banker. 10 euros again, nice and steady, just how Masaniello likes it. Lost again. So, I move 1 cell to the right, back to 0. Actually, winning or losing at this stage doesn't matter. What matters is following the sequence. And Banker wins. Since Banker won, I move 1 cell down. The chart says 2 units on Banker this time, 20 euros. Banker wins, and I won. 1 cell down, 3 units on Banker. Now it's 30 euros. As you can see, while I move forward through the progression, the bets start to increase, and so does the tension. Lost. Let's check the chart. 1 cell to the right, 2 units on Banker. Ah, lost again, no problem. Another cell to the right, 0 again, you know the drill. A dummy bet, 10 euros on Banker and 10 on Player. Banker wins. Let's go to the chart. Another sell down, 2 units on Banker. So, 20 euros again. Let's see what happens next. One. Finally, 2 in a row. That's 1 step closer to the end of the chart. 1 sell down, 5 units on Banker. We're getting closer to finishing, but now it's 50 euros on the line. Nice, that's what you want to see. Let's check the chart. Another sell down, 7 units on Banker. Yeah, 70 euros, but I'm on the right way. Push. Nothing changes. Let's repeat the bet. Oh, another push. That's uncommon, but it doesn't affect the result. It feels like Masaniello wants to increase the tension. And 1. Moving down 1 more time. 7 units again. The important thing with Masaniello is staying far from the zeros. That means staying far from disaster. That's a loss. Player wins, so 1 sell to the right. This time the chart says 9 units on Banker. Yeah, 90 euros total. One. Great. I think I'm almost there. 1 sell down, next bet, 8 units. 80 euros on Banker, and still a safe distance from the zeros. Lost. But I'm still in good shape. 1 sell to the right, 11 units total. Yes, that means 110 euros on Banker in a single hand. And 1. If I win 1 more time, I'll reach the goal. Moving 1 sell down, 8 units on Banker. So, this is it. 1 more win, and I'm done. Plenty of chances to end this the right way. Lost. But everything is still fine. 1 more sell to the right, 15 units total. 150 euros on Banker. No pressure at all. Ah, a push. Perfect timing, as usual. Same bet. And there it is. That takes me out of the chart and closes the session with the target achieved. This was a great run. I started with 1,050 euros and finished 2,032 euros for a total profit of 182 euros. Not exactly the $200 I was targeting, but very close to the 20% goal I mentioned earlier. The outcome when you win is always slightly different than the 20% profit, but close enough. Since most of the winning hands came from Banker bets, the commission slightly reduced the final profit, but the difference is practically negligible. With Masaniello, you don't necessarily have to complete the entire cycle. There is always the option to end the session once you feel satisfied with the profit, instead of pushing further and risking more than you are comfortable with. Overall, Masaniello feels extremely structured. Every possible scenario is already mapped depending on the outcome of each hand, which removes guesswork from the process. It offers solid chances of success, but the risk of losing the entire bankroll is always there, and that is simply part of the game. So always play responsibly, respect your stop loss, and only play with money you can afford to lose. What do you think about this Baccarat strategy? Let me know in the comments. I always try to reply to everyone. And before we end this video, join our free community where you can access exclusive bonuses, free tools, and great content that we never share on YouTube. Link is in the description. Alright ninjas, thanks for watching, and see you in the next hand.